child of Somali immigrants, and I'm the child of Honduran immigrants.
It's gonna be a great show. It's gonna be fun. We're just gonna talk about random stuff that's relevant to growing up in the U.S. as an immigrant. So join us. You might laugh, you might roll your eyes, or you might tune us out. I don't know.
It's over with that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, this is like pretty close quarter. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. This show is sponsored by our business, Mosaic Capital Group, where we focus a lot on investing in real estate and offering opportunities for you to invest alongside of us on those real estate deals. If you're interested, we definitely welcome you to check us out.
Yeah, and you can find us at mcgequity.com. Again, that's mcgequity.com. That's our website. You'll find tons of wonderful free resources there. Plus, you can reach out to us in terms of seeing new opportunities and various aspects of investing. So please check it out. There's some ebooks there that can also give you some great info. So check it out and join us.
Thanks for tuning in for this second part of The White Barrier with Amina Shafi Rogers.
And I think maybe in subtle ways I have. And part of the thing my sister and I talk about regularly is like we're always the initiator of conversations in groups. Very rarely do people ask about us. And it's like it happens in both groups where there is like multiple ethnicities maybe represented and majority white, but like we are always the curious ones or the ones to break the ice. Like it's very rare where like someone approaches us like, so tell me about you. Like it's very rare. That's one thing, and I don't know if it's could be intrinsically linked to the white barrier, but it's definitely happened in like white majority spaces with us.
That's interesting to think about. Like now that I'm reflecting, yeah,
we're like jovial and we're like outgoing, yeah. And we know people, we like to like connect with people. I mean, we're just like, if we sit somewhere though, like I will always end up being the first person to be like, hey, so what's your name? They'll be like,
I mean, I was dying trying to connect with what's his name, freaking Brad, Ken, whatever his name was.
Just give
We'll
him
call him Ken. We'll call him
Ken because you might do business with him.
Love you,
Ken. Not gonna
Ken.
call us again.
You remember, guys, when we went to Teddy Carpenter's DC comedy show?
Yeah.
I would like to bring that up and memorialize that because that's an example of like how our friendship circle, even in college, was super diverse, okay? We go into this comedy club and we sit down. We're in the first row. We came in late.
That was a bad decision.
Yeah, we came in late. We were in the first row. Of course, we're going to get like picked on. He comes up and he's like, you guys, I'm allowed to say bad words?
Yes.
Okay,
please.
He's like, what are y'all? The fucking United Nations? And we were like, joking around. He looks at Aziz. He's like, man, you look like some like African king. What's your name? Or like, what's your name? And he's like, Abdulaziz. And then he's like, no, what's your real name? And then say your real name.
Abdulaziz Abdurrahman Yassin Yusuf.
He's like, you sound like a motherfucking king. And then he looked at me.
He called me a warlord.
He called you a warlord. That's right. And did he say anything to you?
He was talking about the buttons on my shirt, which ironically I'm wearing the same kind of shirt again.
With the pockets.
What did he say? Like, you look like a Honduran or what?
He's just like, this motherfucker over here with the buttons on his shirt and all these pockets. I don't even know how that's offensive, but it was funny.
And then for me, he looks at me, he was like, what did he, how did he say? He was
I know what he said about
Oh, yeah,
that.
I know. He said, how many, where are you from? I was like, my parents are from Pakistan. He's like, how many kids do you want? I was like, I don't know. I'm in college, right? So I'm like, as many as I'm blessed with. He's like, yeah, you look like some fertile shit. And I was like, embarrassed. I'm like, he's looking at me funny. But it's like we had Koreans. We had a bunch of Korean friends.
Yeah.
Africans.
Yeah.
East Africans.
Black
Pakistanis, Asians, Indians. We rolled deep. Like it was like 11 of us.
Yeah, it was nice. But that was
an experience, like to be recognized again for our like diversity in the group.
Yeah,
so.
He kept calling us the United Nations the whole time.
He's like effing United Nations.
And then he pointed out at all the black people at the table. He's like, don't let them fool you. These ain't regular black folk. They undercover. They're from over there.
Like Africa. Africa.
He's like, those are foreign Negroes.
That's right. That guy was funny. I wonder if he's still in business. Look him up.
I don't know.
It's been a while.
Oh.
Okay, let's talk about accents.
Oh yeah, what are you gonna say about accents? Your empathetic accent.
What?
So I do this. Right?
You do it all the time. In fact, I thought you were born abroad because
No.
you're like from Arlington. He's like, hello.
Okay,
how are
okay.
you?
Background
I'm like,
story.
Alex!
Background context. We have years of making fun of Alex for his fake accent. Because Alex is pretty much as American can be. And he's always perpetually had this accent.
Fake.
It's not fake.
I've spent
It's
more times
recognized.
living overseas than he has. And I have less of an accent than he does.
But what accent is it?
Well, go ahead.
So
Go
I
ahead.
just discovered it. I think it was just recognized in academia. It's the Miami accent.
What?
It's real. It's a real accent. And obviously I've lived here in Northern Virginia so long, it's like, it's not exactly the
I
same.
verified. He's actually...
But it's
Okay,
a
I
real
can kind
accent.
of see that because Miami is like my brother always says it's like Latin America. It's not really Miami. It's not United States city.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And for me, I felt so seen. Because
Validated.
I honestly was curious. I was like, why do I talk like this? But like, the way they pronounce their letter L, like all these different things. I'm like, oh.
Did you live there?
I lived there up
was
until
born
first
there.
grade.
Okay,
yeah.
okay, that
no,
makes
you weren't
sense.
born
Man, I'm
there.
sorry.
You came
I'm-
there as a kid.
Sorry, I said you were fake.
But the point I wanted to make, so yes, I have that accent, especially when I really relax, right? Like a lot of times on the show, I'll like try to use my kind of
American voice.
more neutral voice.
Go ahead, do the...
Code
the
switch.
hello.
Code switch. That's hello. And Aziz has gotten feedback. No one's told me, but Aziz is getting feedback because people, I guess, are embarrassed to tell me that I'm robotic on the show.
You should just do your Latino accent.
No, because like right now you're fine, but sometimes in our other show, Screw the Stock Market, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Good financial information. But anyway, when Alex is going through there, sometimes he'll be looking at the camera and he'll be like, "All right, so today we
that's sad.
are discussing."
Wait, are you trying to not do the
IRAs.
Miami accent when you do that?
I don't know. I'm just trying to like speak slowly and clearly and trying to.
I mean, you
Pronounce.
speak fully and
Somebody literally told me one time, "Tell Alex to stop reading his script less." I was like, "What script? We have no script." You act like we planned this.
But you do good. You do good impressions. Like
Well, he
remember
took-
the movie theater guy?
He
and,
took
like-
the voice classes.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah, exactly. But okay, so the accent I want to talk about is
Aziz
when
abroad.
we talk to people who are not native English speakers, right? So someone who, like, when you have a conversation with my parents, or when I talk to your parents, like, there's this thing that we subconsciously do is to just kind of slow down, maybe use a more limited vocabulary, just to make it easier for the non-native English speaker to understand. But Aziz turns it into an Indian accent. for
Yeah,
some
it's
reason.
like it's unreal. It's like, hello, how are you?
First of all, slander. I don't know what you're talking about.
Do we have
and even
evidence?
if I do, I'm just trying to be empathetic and bond with the people that I'm talking to. All right?
Give us an example.
You know, yeah, just because I have a high emotional IQ.
Okay, how about when that guy gave you a doner kebab in Turkey and you said thank you and then you were talking to him about something? Does he need empathy?
I don't even know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
you
I
were
don't
like-
remember.
You just stepped into this like desi accent. I was like, wait, what? You didn't have it a minute ago.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he does have it, he does.
We're gonna try to get it on camera. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna invite my dad on the show.
Oh, that's good. Then you'll talk to
and
him.
then he's gonna do it. He won't even know he's
Talked to
doing
your
it.
dad tons of times.
Yeah, and you always do that. You're like, "Dur, dur, dur, dur."
Hey, you're about to get canceled.
I'm Daisy, so it's okay. Speaking of accents, my dad grew up in England, and so he's very British. And so I have grown up saying like things like trousers rather than or advert instead of advertise or commercials.
Oh.
You know, stuff like that. But there's some funny like
How do you say cigarette?
cigarette or military
That was a trap.
instead
Yeah,
of
that was a
military.
trap.
Military. So like we grew up kind of being able to like be able to flip into British accent regularly. So I used to do it all the time. And it's just kind of like when some of my favorite memories are of my siblings and I kind of like fondly poking fun of my dad and his accent. Like we think it's hilarious. So like one of our favorite family stories is this is in our other house, our second home in Virginia. There's a stairwell and then our rooms are on the top. So it's Rabia's room, my room, and Omer's room. I'm like down here witnessing stuff. Omer and Rabia are talking to each other. They're like, hey, we have nicknames, right? So Omer's like, Robbie, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. And she's like, oh, me, I don't know, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. And my dad, like, they're like going back and forth. My room's right in the middle. They're yelling. My dad comes in from work and he's like, Omar, you're too loud. And then Omar's like, sorry, Dad, it's just the construction of this house. And he's like, you're wrong. It's the construction of your larynx. So we just use this, like, now we're always like, it's the construction of your larynx. And we always said my dad was, like, the best dictionary, because he always used such a great, like, nice English. So much so that we got pulled over one day. I don't know what happened. We had a flat, or my dad was speeding, or he ran a red light. I couldn't remember. And this was the days when on our tickets, they had race. And so my dad, the cop knocks on our door and he's like, officer, I'm lost. And then he talks to him, da-da-da-da-da. He's Pakistani, okay? He's Pakistani, ethnically.
The officer?
No, my dad, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's Pakistani, but he speaks very clearly with a British accent. He's like, officer, I'm lost. And then the guy's talking to him. He got a little citation, whatever. They check white on it.
Wow.
Because they literally were like, this guy's British. Like, they're
What
like
else could he
ethnicity.
be?
Yeah, it's like, and it's just funny because it comes up quite a bit. Like the fact that he has a British accent almost overrides the fact of like any South Asianness or like desiness that he may experience. Like, it's very fascinating.
I bet you his experience is probably closer to ours than your mom or like our parents.
Yeah.
Right? Like, who came and they have the accent and
Yeah.
He's more British.
He's more British because he did his grade school there onward,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, because my mom, she has like a more of a desi English accent, and my dad's definitely like British English.
Yeah, her accent definitely is more
like sweet
Desi.
auntie.
Yeah.
It's like, Aziz, Assalamu alaikum, Aziz, how are you? How's your mom? And my dad would be like, Aziz, how are you, young man?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to
He says nice to meet you every time you
Yeah,
see
he
him.
means good to see you again, but he's like, nice to meet you. And I'm like, Dad, you've known these guys since I was in my like teens or late teens.
I feel like all of our parents have weird, random verbal quirks.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
I remember,
sweet. It's endearing.
Yeah. I remember my dad used to like mortify me when I was a kid. Like, you know how they used to give you those back to school shopping lists?
Oh, yeah. Love those.
I remember going to, I don't know, Kmart at the time or whatever store it was to go get school supplies. And I remember him walking around looking for things, and he's like, what was we were trying to get erasers at one point, and he would be looking at it and he's like, where are the rubbers?
Yeah.
Aziz, go get the rubbers.
That's what my dad said.
Excuse me, where can I find the rubbers? I'm like, okay.
Can you please tell a story about tip drill?
No, I'm not gonna tell that story.
You want to tip? That's the best story though. Okay.
We can edit it out later if you really
It's very
want to.
funny.
So, I don't know if anyone has seen the Nelly music video Tip Drill from back in the day. This is back when BET Uncut was a thing, if anyone remembers that. So,
Steamy.
yeah, so
Videos.
late night, BET would have these sessions where they would show videos that they normally could not air during normal hours. And I had no idea that this was a thing.
Sure.
No, I didn't. I had no idea.
Innocent. Oh.
I'm just innocent.
So-
I didn't know about twerking and booties.
You know what? You better be banned from the show. Anyway. So I couldn't sleep.
I was
so
empathetic.
I'll fight you. I couldn't sleep.
So much empathy.
So I come down and, this is my parents' house. So I come down and I'm just like watching TV in the living room. I'm like, oh, BET. Let me watch some music videos. And then at some point my mother comes down and she goes towards the kitchen to go get something. And, I don't mind anything. I'm just sitting there watching music videos. And then
Tip drill.
this Nelly video comes on BET Uncut, and the video is called Tip Drill, and I was like, oh, Nelly. This is back, in the early 2000s when Nelly was big, and I'm like, oh, Nelly, hey, I like
Not Nelly Furtado, by the way.
Okay, calm down. So I'm watching this, and then all of a sudden, the video just starts off with him rapping and a bunch of guys, and, they have the random video, vixens kind of running around, dancing around. So typical rap video type stuff. But then it progresses to the point where he's just rapping about the phrase tip drill over and over again. And then he's just spreading these clearly strippers' butt cheeks wide open and swiping his credit card
Like
down
this.
their butt cracks.
Like this.
Yeah, like just like that. And then they're like literally having orgies in these jacuzzis, and I'm just like, what just happened? At which point my mother walks in at that right moment, just like when he's yelling out the lyrics, "You want a tip drill? You want a tip drill?" So my mother looks at me, mortified, looking at the TV, then looking back at me, and said, "This is what you watch? This is what you do? You want to tip? You want to drill? This is it? Astaghfirullah. What have I raised?" And then she starts calling me hayawan, which, translates in Arabic as, monster or animal or whatever. And just goes off. And I'm like, I didn't know. I just thought it was just a regular video. Yeah. Thanks, BT.
So what does that have to do with this? You just wanted him to embarrass himself. That has nothing to do with the topic of the show.
No, you're right, but it has to do with white barrier.
No, it's I guess your mom's
Being in our
response to
parents'
this
home.
culture.
Okay, that's one piece. Like having to watch stuff like that. Like, I don't know. Like, there are some correlations, I'm sure.
I rented "Don't Be a Menace" to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood, and we sat down and watched that.
Your mom.
We went to like Blockbuster Video. I was like in high school, right? Went to like Blockbuster, rented the video, and like the Wayans brothers.
Yeah, they're nuts.
And
I love them.
And then there was just a scene where there was like a cookout and a dance party, and there was just literally people having sex instead of like dancing. And my dad just walked up. He just got up. He's like, "This is trash. You are trash." And then he just walked out. I was like, I think we'll just hit stop here. And I never finished the movie. I'm sure I'm missing out.
I'm sure you are.
If it's half as good as White Chicks.
Oh gosh, I didn't even see that one.
Oh, that one's great.
Oh, White Chicks is awesome.
That is a movie that we should talk about. we should do our rendition of White Chicks on this.
I'll have to watch that. I have to watch that one. It's pretty funny, I've heard.
It's hilarious.
I think
And that
anything the
also
Wayans do is hilarious.
That also talks about the white barrier.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Kind
the
of.
whole point.
Oh, because they have to they like disguise themselves as white women.
Yeah. And they're interacting with like upper class white society, and they're more acceptable because they're white women. But then they're also a little bit fetishized because they're white women with black cultural effects, like they can dance and all this other stuff. So it's like this,
Wow.
yeah, fantastical thing. And then you got the stereotypical black athlete that's only fascinated with white women kind of thing. Terry Crews character.
Oh, I like
Masterful performance. That was so good.
Okay, now I gotta watch it.
It's so good.
I'll have to watch that one.
Anything else you guys want to talk about? So we talked about family. We talked about the white barrier. We talked about
Accents.
tokenization. We talked about accents. I think...
We never really addressed how the white barrier makes us feel.
How does it make you feel?
I don't know. I've never really fully dissected it. I mean, it's become such a norm
Yeah.
that you don't even think of it. It's like, yeah, it's something that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think, most of the time, right? Like, especially in the workplace, right? Where it comes to like mentorship and getting taken under the wing, and you see people who, I mean, your story from law school, which I can't remember if we already told on this, but
No.
about the internships.
Maybe we did. I don't remember.
Well, we can tell it again. I
Tell
mean,
us.
but that one is a really good example of a way in which it really hurts us, right?
Yeah.
In a very tangible, legitimate way. It's just like this person got taken under the wing. It wasn't just because she was white. It was because she was white and from the right family and connected. But she was somebody, and she got picked out and just kind of placed in a position where she was going to succeed. And then Aziz got a good afternoon.
Good,
and
literally.
good day.
Literally. Good day.
That was it?
Yeah, it was two of us literally standing in front of this professor, and she comes up and asks, and this girl is a sweet girl. She's like a friend of mine from college, but asks her, "Hey, so what are you doing for the summer?" And for those of you who are not familiar with the law school experience, summertime is when you go and you get these big law firm internship that pretty much sets your entire career. Highly competitive, very difficult to get. And this girl had pretty much was like, "Oh, I'm not going to do anything. I didn't get anything. And, I figured, why keep bothering. I'm just gonna chill and just relax. This first year was traumatic, which it was. I mean, that's where all my hair went.
Yeah.
And the professor was like, "Oh no, we can't have that. We gotta find you something. You know what? I'm gonna make some calls, and I know somebody that was looking for something. We'll take care of this, for you shortly.
That's
Come and
nice.
see me on, this day, and I'll set up a meeting, and we'll take care of this." Meanwhile, I'm standing right there, right by her side, standing there. She didn't even acknowledge me. She didn't say anything. She acknowledged me at the very end when the conversation was over, and then she was just like, "Good day," and just walked away.
It's nuts.
So, that's I think one of the most important reasons why the white barrier hurts us, because we all want to succeed. We come here, our parents brought us here. We want to grow. We want to do things right. We want to achieve the things they wanted us to achieve, and we want to achieve the things we want to achieve, right?
Yeah.
And so that's one. And then the social part too is also kind of like, aside from just like mentorship, but just kind of general networking and connecting and that kind of thing. There's a lot of value that people could offer, right? Like just generally being friends and having a more fulfilling social life. I think our social life is pretty awesome. We got a pretty amazing
awesome.
circle.
We do.
I don't know.
Even if we don't see each other.
I think that's really
again,
the only
it's
one.
fun.
Is there any other reason?
I don't know. I just feel like it's okay because we find our people, the right people. Like, I don't ever want to be in a position where I feel affected by what their issues are. You know what I mean? Like, if they have a white barrier, okay, see ya, you lost out. Like,
Love
you know
that,
what I
yeah.
mean? I'm like, too bad. So sad. Go hang out with your white friends.
And I mean, I
You
think
can't get some masala like me.
that's a good way of thinking about it too, because I think a lot of times subconsciously we internalize it as it's our job to get through the barrier.
Yeah, and it's not.
And it's not.
Yeah.
And it's a two-way process.
I think it's a good lesson, and I will tell you, like, when I, after Yara was born, her pediatrician recommended I do therapy, like postpartum. And one of the biggest lessons I learned through therapy is don't have expectations of people. Like, you're only in control of your own emotions, how you react to them, and you can't dictate how someone is going to act towards you. Like, you just can't.
Yeah.
And so that's part of that, I think, too. That kind of like unlearning that it's us, Okay, I'll give you an example. It's kind of white barrier-ish, but like, and not that I needed white man validation, but, I went to a pretty white school, you guys know. And then in law school, I went to a pretty white school. But I did one semester. Go ahead.
No, you did that little
Stint.
I was about to
So I
say
did
what you
that
said.
one stint at Howard, which is a historically black community college, community university. Please edit this part. HBCU, historically
College
black
and
college university, and I had the best time. Okay, not just in terms of diversity of thought.
She's gonna say it. Better say it.
I did not know I was hot shit until I went to Howard Law, and just regular Howard. I did not know that. I had such and I didn't realize how much self-esteem was wrapped up in just unrequited crushes of online boyfriends that didn't work out. I don't know, stupid stuff that I was when I went to Howard, I was like, oh, it wasn't me. It was them. I got so much validation. I was like, what? You think I'm this, and I was getting offers to go out here, do this, and I was like, oh my God. And it just because certain, I felt more appreciated, my body type, my personality. I've had people say to me when I express interest in them, and usually I was always the one to do it, right? And because just men did not come towards me as much as they did when I was at Howard. And, I'm naive a little bit at this point, because I'm Muslim, trying to navigate how to meet someone, but do it appropriately, all this kind of cultural stuff and religious stuff that comes into play too. And I had some white guy be like, you're amazing, but you're just too much, and I remember my mom even looking at me, I was at the table, we were just sitting down, and she's just looking at me Mom, why are you looking at me? She's like, I just think I don't think you can be with a Pakistani guy. I was like, no shit, Sherlock. I was like, they can't handle me. They can't handle. Like, I'm not gonna list all the reasons why, but I'm like, I knew that growing up. I was like, oh no, it ain't gonna be Pakistani guy for me. Like, I just knew that because there was just some sort of expectation and roles and like how you do and treat the in-laws and extended family that I was just like, I don't know if I can do that because I wouldn't feel like truly me. So it's just very interesting that different cultural groups can validate you and appreciate you. And my experience in LA was the same thing. Like the communities of friends and family and like folks that became family there was just so enriching. You know, and I was there from 26 to 29, so you can appreciate how formative those years are. And I came back to DC area, and I was like, okay, I'm good. Like, I didn't feel that, like, I'm just a tomboy, late bloomer kind of thing. I felt like, okay, stepping into, like, my femininity more. I wasn't just wearing, like, Batman shirts. You know, I was wearing dresses now, you know.
I remember. The time at Howard, you like lit up.
I was blossomed,
something
man.
really changed inside.
Yeah, because
really
I was
cool.
like, I realized like it's not me. It really wasn't me. And all my whole life, I was just like, oh, I'm just not somebody's type. I just didn't know. The environment was what kind of was the issue. I had a hunch maybe, but just was like that.
For me, the most memorable moment of that era, which is why I was laughing when you first started on this topic, is you calling me and telling me, Aziz, did you hear about apple bottom jeans? And did you know I got an apple bottom? This shit was made for me.
Dude, I can't even tell you. I think I was at TJ Maxx or Marshall's, and I was like, these are kind of cute. They had apples right on the bottom, on the back pocket. I literally put them on in the dressing room, and I almost cried. I was like, yes, they fit. Like, they fit my booty, they fit my waist, my thighs. There was a little give in it, and I was just like, I need to shop at Black women's stores. The limited is not for me. 579 is not for me because I never was a 9. I never was a 10. I was like a 10, 12. So since I was younger, so I just felt so validated.
Yeah.
I can't believe I called you about it.
Yeah, the joy in your voice was.
I think I nearly cried when I first tried jeans that fit my booty. I was like,
the fact that you said, "Did you know I have an apple bottom?"
see, I tell these guys everything.
Yeah, no, it's been cool. I think, geez, I mean, like, we grew up together, and like we've really gone through like a whole life together. So it's been really, really beautiful to do that. And now, like, we have daughters that are about the same age, and we want to keep them going, keep that happening. So essentially making them cousins, you know.
Yeah, man.
But I think, you know, part of the vision for this is to kind of allow that the kind of community that we've had.
Yeah.
To see if there's other people out there like that, right? Because I think there is, and like I said on that last one, where it's like, I love Honduran people, and I am Honduran, but this is really like a bigger part of it for me. Is just a bigger part of my identity is this internationalness,
same,
this diversity-ness, and we've got to come up with a good name for it, because children of immigrants. I don't know.
How about effing United Nations?
That might be the one. F-U-N. That's fun.
Fun! Literally fun.
I like it.
Okay, we're the fun
It does
group.
not surprise me that you're the one that named it.
You're
Are we
pretty good
gonna
at naming things.
Good at that.
Yeah.
If you would. You're like, it's fun. And it truly is. I want to tell you guys something. And I don't want any pushback on this, okay? Do you both recognize that I'm the one who introduced you both? Do you know that?
I don't remember that.
Okay. I don't think you remember that, but I'm telling you I am. And I was telling Amal, I was talking to Amal, she's one of our Eritrean friends. She's in Montgomery County with me. And I was like, I just want them to know that and recognize that. Because I'm very generous with my friendships. Like, I'm like, oh, that person and that person will connect. Go, do your thing. And I don't have to join in. I'm like, because I have confidence in my bilateral relationships, right? So I'm like, go do that. But I'm like, I want you guys to recognize that for me, because I met you at STP the summer before, and then I met you through Jen and like a couple other people in your first dorm. And I was like, oh, you guys should meet. And then you were trying to figure out what to do for housing, and you were. And I was like, oh, Alex and Aziz, you guys should meet. And then you roomed together. You met and you roomed together. So I just want to take credit.
Okay.
I just remember I thought I met you when I kept stealing your Super Nintendo.
Well, we must have already known each other. I remember that.
Yeah.
That was before.
But it must have been those first few days of school.
Yeah, it was like, I literally was like, you guys have to meet. Because I met you through Valerie at Virginia Hall. Virginia and Valerie.
Yeah, I remember.
That's who I met.
Our white friends.
No, she's Omani.
Really?
Valerie is.
No, Valerie's mixed. She's half. Virginia is all white.
Yeah, but she's culturally tuned.
Yeah.
She's one of the good ones.
She's one of the good ones. All right, man. Thanks for having me on.
It's been awesome.
Yeah,
It's really, really fun.
Good.
It was fun.
Hey. Your head is still huge, man. You're not that much taller than me.
I'm not going to say anything. That's a wrap. Thank you guys for tuning in. We hope you had fun. We had fun.
We had fun.
Yeah, we did.
Enjoy. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, so switch over a bit. I think you're out of frame.
All right.
Yeah, this is like, we're pretty close quarters. I'm used to having all this space by myself and not being around humans. And all of a sudden, I used to be a touchy-feely person, and that was very uncomfortable for me.